Chapter 2. Weeks later. The house that once echoed with laughter now carried a stillness that felt heavy. Uncle Samir's sudden passing had shaken everyone, but for Huram, it felt like losing a piece of her heart. She wandered through the house quietly. No more loud laughter, no playful demands. Even the plants in the garden seemed duller without her singing voice. Sometimes she'd sit near her uncle's armchair, running her fingers on the wooden handles as if waiting for him to speak again. Her mother often found her there, lost in thought, her eyes red but her lips trying to smile. For Mazen, grief came with responsibility. He was no longer just the eldest son. He was now the head of the house. Days turned into long stretches of work and worry. He studied late into the night for his degree, and by morning, he was out delivering reports for a small company that barely paid enough. Bills, groceries, Zamer's fees, medicines. Everything seemed heavier now. And yet, every evening, he tried to keep the house alive the way his father would have wanted. He'd help his mother with the accounts, scold Zamer for being careless, and leave Huram her favorite mango milkshake on the table without saying a word. His hands grew rough, his shoulders tired, and faint dark circles marked the sleepless nights, but his calm never broke. Zamer, one night, quietly, "Bro, you don't rest anymore." Mazen, "There's no time to rest, Zamer. Baba's not here, someone has to hold things together." Slowly, the rhythm of life returned. Meals at the same table, Zamer's jokes, both the mother's evening prayers. Huram started smiling again, though her eyes never sparkled quite the same. She often watched Mazen from afar, working late, counting bills, rubbing his temples. Something in her heart softened every time she saw him like that. He never spoke of his pain, never complained. But in the quiet of night, when everyone slept, his exhaustion was visible in the slow sighs, the untouched teacup, the files spread across the table. He was keeping the house standing, brick by brick, breath by breath, just like his father had done. And Huram, without realizing it, began to pray a little harder for him every night. She sat with her college friends in the campus lobby, a half-empty glass of lemonade resting beside her. Their laughter echoed against the marble walls, stories bouncing from one girl to another, about classes, crushes, and family chaos. Huram, as always, listened more than she spoke. She shared bits of her life too, how his uncle used to manage everything so calmly, how Zamer never stopped joking, and how Mazen always seemed to have the right answer for everything. But there were things she never shared. The last piece of cake he always saved for her. The way his voice softened only when he said her name. Those moments felt too personal, too hers. It was her friend who noticed first, tilting her head with a teasing grin. "Friend, you know, Huram, your cousin Mazen is way too nice to you." Huram smiled proudly. "Huram, of course he is. He takes care of everyone." Friend laughed, leaning closer. "Not like that, silly. He's different with you. The way he listens to your tantrums, my cousins don't do such things for me." Huram laughed, trying to brush it off, but her fingers fidgeted with the straw in her drink. Huram said, "He's just responsible. He's like that with Zamer too." Friend, "No, no. With Zamer, he argues. With you, he melts. Trust me, he likes you." The girls giggled, exchanging knowing looks. Huram's laughter joined theirs, light, playful, but her cheeks turned the softest shade of pink. Later that evening, when Mazen returned from work, she found herself watching him differently. The rolled-up sleeves, the tired calm in his eyes, the way he spoke to her mother with quiet respect, the faint smile that appeared when Zamer cracked a joke, everything seemed suddenly noticeable. She didn't know why her heart beat faster when his gaze briefly met hers. Huram, to herself softly, they're just teasing, maybe. They're wrong. Or maybe. She looked away quickly, pressing her lips together. Her innocence trembled on the edge of something new, something unnamed. For the first time, she felt the weight of a feeling she couldn't understand, and the warmth of it scared her. Life had changed its rhythm. Days began and ended with responsibility. Mazen's life no longer his own. The house, the bills, Zamer's school fees, everything came to him like waves that never stopped crashing. He worked double shifts, studied late into the night, sometimes skipping meals just to make sure no one else had to. And in all that chaos, Huram kept watching. Her heart ached seeing him return home exhausted, dark circles under his eyes, his smile weaker, but still there. She wanted to help, but she was still in college. Her dream of becoming a doctor, his dream for her, demanded her complete focus and money. Every time she looked at him, she was torn between admiration and guilt. She wanted to ease his burden. She wanted him to see she understood, that she wasn't a child anymore. But he still saw her as that, the little girl who threw cushions at Zamer and sulked when her milkshake melted. It was Alina's son's first birthday. The whole family had already left early to help with preparations. Only Mazen and Huram were left behind. She had just returned from college, slightly breathless, her books still in hand. He waited outside beside the car, rolling up his sleeves, waiting for her to get ready, the late afternoon light brushing against his tired face. The car engine was silent. The only sound was the click of his watch and his soft sigh as he leaned against the car. Then the door opened, and there she was. For the first time, she hadn't rushed. Her dupatta was neatly pinned, her hair softly curled at the ends, a light shade of pink gloss on her lips. She'd even borrowed Alina's earrings, just because, for some reason, today she wanted him to notice. For a heartbeat, he forgot how to breathe. The same girl who once ran barefoot through the hallway now stood there, radiant, confident, and yet still carrying that familiar spark of innocence in her eyes. She twirled slightly, nervous. Huram, smiling, "So, how am I looking?" He blinked, forcing himself to look away, to remember who she was, what she was to him. A deep breath, a long pause, then a small, composed smile. Mazen, quietly, suppressing everything. Pretty. He opened the car door and slipped into the driver's seat before she could say more. She stood there for a moment, her smile faltering. The answer she'd waited for, simple, ordinary, almost dismissive, stung more than she'd expected. For next update, subscribe to my channel.